Hello everyone and welcome to the video today. Today I wanted to showcase you my PvP Templar Magicka Healer. This is a build I put together over the past 2 weeks. I've been playing in Cyrodiil and Battlegrounds and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So first off we're going to start here with the stats, race, Mundus, and all those fun little choices that you can make. First, I'm going to play a Breton. I love the Breton sustain on my Magicka characters for PvP. Especially when I'm playing a healer, it means I can just keep casting things at non-stop. We're going to put 36 points into Magicka and 28 into health. As you can see here on our sword and board bar, we have 37.7k health and 31.6k Magicka, with 1700 Magicka recovery. Our resistances here are very high, do take note of that. Unbuffed, we have 39k spell resistance and 36k physical resistance. Critical resistance looks a little bit low at 1571, but that will go up. We're going to use the Atronach stone for some extra recovery. If you feel fine playing with low recovery, you can either change your food choice or change your Mundus over to the Apprentice. But for this build right now, we're going to be using the Atronach with the Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Again, food choice and Mundus choice are optional depending on how you want to play with your sustain. Now also here on our restoration staff, we're going to have closer to 2000 Magicka recovery and almost close to 2800 spell damage unbuffed. Our resistances are slightly lowered, but that will happen once you switch off your defensive bar. Now just quickly here, we're going to buff up. There we go, we can proc that. And on our defensive bar we have 45,000 spell resistance and just about 42,000 physical resistance, with over 3,100 critical resist. This is pretty huge. You're going to have a hard time dying with these kind of resistances as long as you can keep your heal over time, which on this build will not be that difficult. So next let's go into skills, starting with our front bar on the restoration staff. Here we're going to go with Radiating Regeneration, your standard heal over time. It's going to put in a nice little heal over time just on all your allies nearby. When you're in a real big Cyrodiil battle, you can just spam this and a lot of people are going to be getting healed. Illustrious Healing. When the heal over times were nerfed and the AoE heals were buffed, this is a big skill that got that buff here, and you can kind of see here over 15 seconds you do 25k healing. And this is unbuffed. Once you start buffing up the skill, you're going to be doing a lot of healing. Combat Prayer, nice little burst heal, buffs your allies, extra damage, extra resistance, big buff for you. Living Dark, it's nice to help you survive, but the main reason we slot this skill is for its passive in Dawn's Wrath that gives you minor sorcery, increasing your spell damage, makes you do stronger healing. Now last but not least, we have Repentance. The heal and the stamina restored doesn't exactly matter for our build. It's nice to have, but you have that slotted for all those extra recoveries. And we also play with Barrier. Now your restoration staff, your front bar ult, you can change this around as you like. I have Barrier on here because it's some extra resist and I can throw a heal on the back bar. That works either way. The ults you want to choose with this build are up to your personal preference. I go with surviving and my recoveries here. That's what works for me. I like that. Do feel free to change that if you need to. Second, we're going to go back to our sword and board bar, defensive. First thing I have is Overflowing Altar. This here is a flex spot. You can change this out with another skill if you'd like to. But if you're in a group and you have that minor lifesteal up, that's just a free heal that keeps going out for your allies. Now that synergy there is kind of like an oh shit button. If your allies are low health, they smack that and boom, they have 65% of their max health back. Just like that, for one button. Honor the Dead, nice little burst heal. Also gives you some magicka back if you heal somebody below 75% health. If you're in a real big fight, that's not too hard to do, and then boom, you have some free recovery. Revealing Flare, we don't really use this. It's slotted just for that passive of minor protection, 10% less damage on your already 45k resistance back bar. I mean, you're going to be a tank, you're going to be very hard to kill in a 1v1, maybe even a 1v3 situation, as long as you keep your heals up. Channeled Focus, this is where you get your major resolve, your armor buff. Not that you necessarily need it with all the resistances you have, but you can also stack that up. You get some extra magicka back while you stand in this, and you also heal while you stand in it. So it's a really good skill just to have, even if you throw down and kind of forget about it while you're standing there. Energy Orb from the Undaunted Tree. Real nice heal that you just throw out. Nice synergy that heals and restores resources to your allies. I use Practiced Incantation on the back bar, heal alt. You're going to move slower while you use this, and that's why I have it on my back bar, so I'm extra tanky with that Revealing Flare and those back bar resistances. You lose out on a little bit of the healing by not putting this on your front bar, but by how tanky you are on the back bar, I have ran through Cyrodiil Zergs with this skill on, and I have survived. So that's kind of why I like that where it is. Next, let's go into our gear. And this is a mythic setup. If you do not want to run a mythic, you can obviously change that out for yourself, but I think on this build specifically, especially when you play it in open world PvP, running a mythic is kind of your standard what you need to do. So the mythic I chose is Gaze of Sithis. You get a lot of health, some health recovery, and a lot of armor from this. I have a tri-stack glyph with impen. And then for the one piece of the monster set I chose here, I just went with a heavy earth gore pauldron here. Health enchant, and put magicka on there. I'm just lazy. Also impen. Earth gore is gonna give you that 4% healing done. If you want to change this pauldron out with something else, another monster set, trainee, whatever one piece you want there, go ahead. It's not going to make that much of a difference. I have it there for the extra 4% healing. Now in our body, we're running 5 pieces of Ethereal Ascension. It's going to be 4 heavy and 1 light to help you get that Undaunted passive for some extra resources. Chest piece is going to be reinforced, and all of these rest of the 4 pieces are going to be well fitted. Now you're going to say, why would you run Ethereal Ascension? You have that extra 20% on block, sprint, dodge, and break free. Well, you can mitigate that 20% simply just by putting on these well fitted pieces. And as for blocking, you're not going to block with Gaze of Sithis anyway because your block negation is 0. You don't need to worry about that. So even though I do run sword and board, I do not block. I just have it on there so I'm a little bit extra tanky. And I can still roll and break free and all that stuff for the same price that I did before putting on this set because of my well-fitted pieces here. Now your big pieces here are going to be tri-stat, and your small pieces are going to be max magicka. Next, we're going to go to our second 5-piece set, which is going to be Rallying Cry. We're going to run 2 pieces with spell damage enchants, 1 with a magicka recovery, and we're going to run the staff with powered. I chose to run this set because of that extra weapon damage buff and that critical resistance buff. If you play in Battlegrounds, this is a very strong set to have because it's only going to proc on 4 people constantly. You will lose a little bit of that max value that the set can have, but you're not going to lose too much of it where it's going to be a detriment to you playing. In Cyrodiil, if you're going to play with a full raid, this set might not be ideal. You might want to switch to Transmutation for only a full raid. If you know that you're going to be playing with people that you can trust, I would put this set on instead. But as for going solo or in a small group, Rallying Cry is going to be your de facto way to play. Our back bar, it's just trainee, defending trait here, alongside a well-fitted shield with a tri-stat. Just some extra resources on your back bar, helps you keep these things up, makes your stat pools look nice. And of course our resistances are already high enough where you could slot something like Potentates here, but I didn't really feel it was necessary. I've been running with this, and in my testing I've been just fine. Now let's go to our CP here. First in the green tree. Wear whatever you want in this, doesn't really matter. Steed's Blessing, Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Gifted Rider. Now our blue tree, where things start to get more important. From the Brink, I've talked about this in my other healing videos. I love this CP. If you heal anyone that's under 25% health, they're gonna get, after CP or after Battle Spirit, it's gonna come out to be a 5500 shield, but that's gonna save their lives 9 out of 10 times from my experience. I love it. I don't play without it when I'm healing. It's just too great. I love it. Arcane Supremacy. This is your flex CP. I choose this because I like having those bigger stat pools on my healer. You can change it out. I don't change this because I like that extra magicka. That is my personal preference. Soothing Tide. A lot of your healing over time abilities have been nerfed, so I chose to buff my AoE heals. If you're going to choose out to change your Arcane Supremacy, either go with the Swift Renewal or go up here with this Rejuvenator, buff your healing some more. And last but not least, I chose Ironclad. Since we know we're going to have enough critical resistance with Rallying Cry, going for the direct damage reduction of Ironclad was a smarter option for me. Here in our red tree, start off with Rejuvenation. If you feel your sustain's good enough, you can change this. I like it for the extra sustain. Goes across all three of your skills there: health, magicka, and stamina. Pain's Refuge. With Plague Break still in the current state it is, we do not use a cleanse ability on this build, so any negative effect that is placed on you is going to help you survive. Not necessarily in the fact that it's not going to do damage to you, but every negative effect is going to do reduced damage to you by 2%. So, with that said, I choose this because it makes it super easy to survive on top of our tankiness, and on top of the heals we can put out. You can just stand there and spam your heals all day, as long as you aren't being focused by more than 3 or 4 people. Fortified. Another kind of flex slot. We don't need the extra armor, but I like to have it for my back bar. If I pop over there, it makes me just a little bit harder to kill. If you want to flex that out, go ahead. A lot of the things in this red tree, at least half of them, I would say are up to personal preference. Boundless Vitality. Here, I choose this just for the max health. You're a healer, you want to stack as much health as you can. As a healer in Cyrodiil or Battlegrounds, your job is to not die. If you do not have teammates that are actively going to protect you, or have teammates you are actively going to empower that you can trust, your main goal is survival and outputting constant healing. So, in my opinion, that is the best way to run this solo or small group Magicka Templar. If you enjoyed, and I hope you did, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment to tell me what you thought about my build or the video. Love you guys, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.